Hey friends, I just got done filming my Ghost of Cedar Point video. I promised you guys I would share my own experiences with working there, so that's why I'm in the same outfit. I'm shooting this on the same day, so I'm twinning with that. But, you know, I just wanted to drop that here. Guys, it's Vlogtober, so come on in, take your shoes off, have a seat, and consider staying a while by clicking that subscribe button. So I worked at Cedar Point back in 2015 as a security officer, and I kind of liked my experience there. I loved the job. I hated the people I worked with, and I can make a story time on that later if you guys want, but for now, this is all about just the spooky things that I saw there. I worked third shift security at Cedar Point, so I didn't really deal with any of the guests. I wasn't really there when the park was like open and like guests were there. Our job was more to get people out of the park because the park was being shut down to close things up. So we were there at night in the dark at Cedar Point most of the time. Experience was when I went for training. So when you work at Cedar Point, you actually have to come like a few months before and go through like orientation, and they kind of explain the job. Especially when you do security there, they show you around the park. Obviously you need to know where everything's at, so they kind of give you the lowdown on that. There's actually back ways into Cedar Point. Like if something looks like a fence, there's more than likely a door there, and it leads like in and out for employees to kind of sneak in and out. So they were teaching us all that. And I ended up staying, obviously I'm 2.5 hours from Cedar Point, and I ended up staying in the employee dorms that I actually stayed in for the entire summer. These employee dorms are the worst dorms. They were very outdated. The furniture was from like hotel furniture that they had like replaced. There was no air conditioning in there. The cabinets were gross. Like they would stick because it was so hot in there. It was not an ideal living situation. And I can make a more in-depth video over like my whole entire experience working there. But obviously, again, this video is just about the ghosties. Staying in this apartment all by myself for training, and there's 3 bedrooms there, and I thought it was really weird that I was by myself. Again, most people are like most of the security team, I'll say, is like around that area. A lot of them are actual police officers, so they have obviously their family, and they work at the park during the day. So I was there by myself, and I was laying in bed at night, and I kept hearing the room next to me, the door would open and close by itself. And I was like, oh, like maybe like another security person was coming in, maybe they're staying here. You know, they had told me that I was the only one that was going to be staying there, but I just thought, well, maybe, you know, someone came in late, they needed whatever. So I got up to go check, and like the door was closed. All the doors were open when I walked in, and this particular door was closed. So I kind of knocked on the door. I was there to make friends. You know, I was in my young 20s, so I knocked on the door, and I was like trying to like see if anyone was in there, and no one answered. And so I just kind of like opened the door, and the room was empty. I was like, okay, like maybe it was just like the wind or something. Like I said, these rooms are like really, really hot with no air conditioning. But at this point, I want to say it was in March or April when I was there. Like there was still snow on the ground, so I didn't have any of the windows open. So I went back to bed, and I kept hearing the same door open and close. Really the only experience that I had in that particular apartment, but like I talked to other employees that had stayed in there after me, like because obviously I got a different room when I came back to work for this summer, and they all said that they had the same issue. Like they were even in the room and the door would open and close by itself. I've never heard of any like stories of anyone being like attached to the dorms there. I don't know why anyone would want to stay there full time. But that in itself was really, really freaky, especially because I was staying by myself. My second experience happened actually the first week that I was working there. So this isn't training anymore. I had gotten there, I'd gotten settled. So the way that security worked when I worked there, you'd have a security guard and a police officer teamed up together. So it was designed that they wouldn't have to hire so many police officers. They would have, you know, more bodies, but they wouldn't have to pay like a police officer's salary to them. And also it was nice for someone like me who wanted to be in law enforcement that I could kind of follow a police officer around and like, you know, see what they do. The police officer that I was paired up with that night, we were in charge of watching the park. And a lot of the times we would just be in the police cars. So I don't know if you guys know this, but like at night when the doors are closed, they actually drive cars like in the park because that's like it's just easier to get around. And like, obviously if you have stuff to do, you don't want to be walking around the whole time. We were going past the museum in Frontier Town, and we saw that all the lights were on in there, and we thought that was really weird because usually like they'll leave like a few security lights on, but they won't leave like all of the lights on. And so we had to go obviously check it out. We got out of the car and we went into the Frontier Town Museum. And when we got in there, the brown horse that I told you guys about was wobbling. I'm not even kidding you. I wish I was still friends with this officer. I'm not. I don't even have any way to contact them, but the horse was wobbling. It wasn't enough to be like poltergeist weird, but it was enough to like both catch our eye. And it was, our first initial thought was someone was in there and they had like ran past the horse and it was like, you know, moving, like the wind had knocked it. We searched the entire building and could not find anyone in there. We came back out. The horse had stopped moving at this point. So we were just like, okay, well, maybe it was us. And we had like, you know, when we opened the doors to come in, we had blown the wind in and the horse, you know, was wobbling because it is very windy out on Cedar Point's island. I'm not kidding you. We went past it not even an hour later and the lights were back on in there. Came in, same thing. The horse was wobbling and the lights were all on. Got paired up with this officer again, and I never got the patrol of that route again. So I have no idea if this happened the rest of the summer. All I know is that that horse was moving twice. I saw it with my own eyes, twice wobbling. And the lights were on by themselves when we had manually shut them off, and there was no like timer in there or anything. So that was really weird. Third experiences was actually at Hotel Breakers. If you guys haven't watched the Ghost of Cedar Point's video, I kind of talked about how things would fly off the shelves or like silverware would go missing. I was really good friends with, or I became really good friends, I should say, with the bartender that worked at Cedar Point. And she was closing up one night. They weren't really busy. She had texted me. We were going to go out to a bar after. And so she's like, hey, do you just want to come, you know, meet me and we can walk out together, whatever, because like I really don't want to walk out because this restaurant's really freaking me out. Now, there was several other people there, but because they were so like slow, it was like at the beginning of the season, they kind of had sent most of their employees home, and she was just like, you know, cleaning off the cups and stuff at the bar and like putting them back up and just like restocking everything. It's like, sure. And like, so I got there and we were talking and I was like, why are you so freaked out and everything? And she was like, she's like, I don't know. She's like, I just get really weird vibes. Like, she's like, I think I see like the pictures on the wall, like they'll tilt by themselves when I'm in here. But she's like, I've been working a lot. So she's like, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, you know. And she's like, also last week we had a glass like just fall off the counter for no reason. Like no one was really around it. She's like, maybe it could have like been like, you know how the counter gets wet and like a glass can move on it. Have you ever had that happen, like where the condensation gets underneath the glass and it will move it if it's a smooth surface? She's like, maybe that, but she's like, I've never like experienced anything in all my years of bartending. I am not kidding you. Once she was done cleaning up, we were walking out together and we heard a behind us. Turn around and not one, not two, but 3 glasses had fallen off the display case in the bar. That could be explained away, but that really, really freaked me out. Like, obviously, I didn't see anything move, so I can't, like, guarantee that they had just fallen off. But I think it is really, really weird that she was just, like, telling me, like, things were falling off shelves and stuff. And then, like, as we were walking out, 3 glasses just fell off the display case for like no reason. Number 4 is my last story. This happened one night when we were actually chasing after this drunk guy who was running naked through one of Cedar Point's dorms. Unfortunately, this dorm isn't even there anymore. It was one of Cedar Point's hotels, and I think it's like so sad they tore it down. I understand why they didn't, because they don't have air conditioning in there, and like obviously they couldn't really rent it out to guests, so they used it for employees. It was just really old. I believe they put the truck thing, like their monster truck thing there now. Anyway, so it's not even there anymore, but we were running through there. This building was very old. It had like a lot of rickety, is that a word? Rickety staircases in it. And there was a lot of uneven surfaces. But me and another officer were running through there one night, chasing this naked, drunk guy through the dorm. And I'm not kidding you. We were in the middle of a hallway and I was running. And for no reason at all, like I just felt like something like hit me in the stomach, but it was like something was like on my like legs too. So like I literally like fell. Like it was like I flipped over something. And the other officer like looked back and is like, did you just fall? And I'm like, in the middle of the hallway And like there was nothing there, like nothing there to like stop my feet or anything, or like, so there's nothing for me to catch on. And like to this day it freaks me out because I'm like what happened? It literally felt like there was like a half wall or something there, and I have like no explanation for it whatsoever. The thing that's really weird to me is that none of these experiences I had, well, a few of them are like linked to like Cedar Point's like ghost stories, but like the one I had at like the employee dormitory, like that's never been said. So, but I will say like how I had that closing door experience, like other employees said they had experienced it. So I'm like, is it just not being reported? Does Cedar Point not want it reported? Like what is going on? Regardless, there's something going on. So there you have, you guys. Those are my ghost experiences at Cedar Point. They're very subtle, they're very strange, but I definitely can't explain what was going on there. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments down below. Do you think there's an explanation for like the slamming doors and the glasses falling off, or do you think that they were ghosts at Cedar Point? Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. It's free. It only takes a second, and it will let me know that you guys are liking Vlogtober so far. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my other Vlogtober content, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye!